Hey guys, welcome back to Excel Tech. So it's been a while since I've been able to actually upload a video, and a lot's happened since my last video near the end of last year. So the first half of this year I've actually been quite sick and with COVID and the flu. I'm over getting sick this first half of the year, but I thought I'd give everybody a bit of an update on what's happening on the channel and what's happening with the mining as we're approaching the Ethereum merge. So I want to give everybody an update on what's happened so far in the last couple of months in terms of what I've been doing with the mining, and I've started to really diversify in terms of the equipment I'm getting and also the tokens that I'm mining, in order to, not put all my eggs in one basket. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe and make a comment. All the equipment that we've got for mining at the moment, I've purchased with all my own money. So the best thing you could do is just give me a thumbs up, a like, or a comment or subscribe, and it'd really help the channel out. So the video is actually quite long, so I've split them into chapters below, so please feel free to skip ahead to the chapters that you're more interested in. So without further ado, I'm going to update on what's been happening. So since the last video at the end of last year, we basically had two RTX 3090s mining away on unminable. And the tokens that I've been mining are basically Shiba Inu token, mining Ethereum and swapping it to Shiba Inu, and also ended up putting one of the RTX 3090s onto mining XRP token. So these two projects I've been interested in for many years, and I feel like they will be able to give us a good return basically in the long run by holding them. So this is not financial advice, so research the tokens that you like and that you like to mine, and put your resources towards that. So I'm going to share what's happened over the last couple of months in terms of what I've done and what I've changed in terms of the mining and what I've learned. So as I said, first of all, I've been mining the Shiba Inu since the last transaction payout up until yesterday. So from yesterday, I've actually shut down the RTX 3090 rigs from mining Shiba Inu and also XRP. So basically with these two tokens, I've been mining them, Shiba Inu, continuously mining that since last year until now, and XRP since we got the second RTX 3090 card. So these are the balances that I've been able to basically build up over this year, 2022, for both Shiba Inu and XRP. And I've turned them off yesterday, basically in preparation for the Ethereum merge. So most of you probably already know that the Ethereum merge is coming up soon. That's when basically Ethereum's gonna stop being proof of work, which is mineable, like GPU mineable and ASIC mineable, and they're gonna turn into proof of stake. So basically in 9 days, 11 hours, the merge will happen and we won't be able to mine Ethereum anymore. So, I'm sure everyone follows all the YouTube crypto miners and will know that the Ethereum merge is coming up, and everyone's now preparing basically what to do, what to mine when the Ethereum merge happens. So yesterday I decided to stop the rigs mining my Shiba Inu and also my XRP, so just to let it basically settle down for 24 hours before I actually pay out these mined tokens to my wallet. So in preparation for the Ethereum merge, I'm starting a little bit early because I used to be in IT, and when things change, lots of things can go wrong, right? So just like when Windows XP turned to Windows Vista, there's a whole lot of issues with the operating system, if you can remember back then. So I kind of want to get in a little bit early, make sure both the tokens, everything has finished and settled, and then basically transfer these to my wallet over the Ethereum network. So the reason I want to do this is so that I want to be able to transfer my tokens safely into my hardware wallet before the merge, or getting close to the merge, so that I can make sure nothing goes wrong when I'm transferring my tokens. So I don't want to leave it to the really last minute where possibly some things can go wrong. So basically, in order to do that, I'm sacrificing possible additional income in order to prepare early for that. And a lot of people, a lot of crypto miners have already started to make their plans. So my plan is to start a bit early, so to get all my tokens off Unmineable and into my my hardware wallet. So that's what's happening with the tokens that we've mined so far. So I'm pretty happy with what we've done so far, and I'm just going to hold these tokens for the long term. So continue to update on what's happened over the last couple of months as the whole crypto market started to come down. We all know that we're going through a crypto winter at the moment. So pretty much from about end of last year, that when we hit the highs around September, the whole market has steadily been coming down, and now Bitcoin is around today around 19,000 USD. So as the price of everything started to come down, GPU prices have started to come down as well. So like a couple of months ago, I saw a really good deal on eBay here in Australia for some RTX 3070 GPUs, and I'm really happy with the Asus TUF series that I purchased for my RTX 3090 that we initially got. So I actually bought the same series of cards. So I also bought Asus TUF series 3070s, and these were original hash rate, and they didn't have the LHR lock on them, so they were full hash rate. So I was able to only afford to get 3 of the cards that the seller was selling, but I was really happy with getting the deal that I got, and I got them around about 700 something Australian. So looking at eBay now and looking at prices online now, have not been able to find any Asus TUF 3070s around the $700 mark. Everything's around $990, $980, close to $1,000 retail new, and secondhand they're still up in the high 900s as well to 1,000. So I got a really good deal at that time. Still quite a lot of cash to spend for me at the time, but I'm seeing these as an investment, and to basically create passive income in the long term. So I was able to get the 3 cards, and I installed them into the RTX 3090 rig, and I was only able to fit 2 of the actual cards into the rig, as I ran out of the PCIe kind of connectors to connect to the power supply. So what I ended up having to do is, after I had actually put all 3 cards into the rig, I had to rejig it and leave 2 cards in the actual mining rig, and then I put 1 of the additional cards into one of the CPU mining rigs that I've got set up previously. So one of the CPU mining rigs has now got a RTX 3070 GPU in it, and they're all running quite well. So I'm really happy with the Asus TUF branded GPUs. They've been really stable, no problems, no thermal throttling, even with the memory temperatures up in the 90s now that we've been able to actually get a reading from HiveOS. But they're just really stable, and they're really a tough GPU. So, and the seller told me that Asus TUFs were his best GPU cards, in addition to the EVGA XC models as well. So they're 2 recommendations that I would make if you're looking at getting GPUs. These 2 brands, EVGA and Asus, seem to be quite good quality, though they're a little bit more expensive most of the time when you compare it to Gigabyte or some of the other cards. But I think the quality of it is worth it. So especially with the Asus TUF, they're military grade, so the memory chips on them are made, they're made to withstand quite well. So moving on, now that the Ethereum merge is fast approaching, what are my plans basically for mining after the merge or before the merge? So if I've moved all my GPUs now onto different coins. So before I turned off the two RTX 3090s and the 3070s, I actually had been putting one of the 3070s onto Flux. So I actually really like Flux. The coin itself, basically it's looking at Web 3.0. So over the last couple of months, my strategy is basically looking at crypto overall as an industry and not just as a miner. So if you're looking at just as mining, then you're just mining the most profitable coin, or you're doing spec mining where a new project comes up, you try to mine a lot of it before it actually starts to go up. So some coins at the moment what I've been mining are very Web 3.0 focused, 3.0 focused, and some of it I'm also doing a bit of spec mining as well. So Flux, it's basically setting up infrastructure for the future. So we think about, currently with our websites and everything, we need infrastructure to host all these websites and all these web services. So, Flux is basically building that infrastructure for the future of Web 3.0. So when you're looking into these new projects, it's really good to look at if it has kind of like a Web 3.0 capability, and what is it going to bring in terms of real world utility and use case. So the coins that I've been mining previously, so Shiba Inu, although it originally started off as a meme coin, but the developers behind it have actually got a lot of good business cases and business mind behind it. So there's lots of things that are happening with Shiba Inu. They're coming out with their own metaverse. They're basically they developed a new game which is coming out soon, which is for the mobile. Then they're gonna basically come up with a second game which is linked to the blockchain and do burns. They've set up a new business venture with like an Italian restaurant which does burgers. So it's kind of like similar like a McDonald's chain. It's a chain in Italy, and that company has now started to also to bring on new franchisees, and there's going to be a burn mechanism associated with that. So the developers behind the coin also coming up with a layer 2 solution, Shibarium. So in order to basically reduce the transaction fees that Ethereum it's associated with Ethereum. So the team behind it are building a lot of real world kind of like businesses connected with the actual token. Last year they had this year they also set up a relationship with a fashion designer to push the token as well. So the people that are running the current project, they're not just looking at digital kind of products, right? Digital products. They're looking at how to integrate the actual token with real world businesses and real world, utilization or utility. So that's where I feel like the success of a particular project will happen in the long run. So this is not like a short term, pump and dump scheme game. This is a long term, like holding a stock for long term. So I feel like this is something in the long term that is going to work out well, because they have a lot of real world business kind of connections now and ideas. So at the end of the day, all these tokens we are mining, if they're not actual businesses, they're not actually going to be able to survive. So if you follow, Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, he has a lot of good insight into, basically blockchain. And he sees it basically as something that will become another asset class, aside from shares and commodities and all these kind of things. So once different governments around the world start actually putting good legislation around it. Now, some people might disagree with that and say like, that's really trying to centralize it, and decentralization is the key. However, if we're in it to actually get capital gain and capital growth, really at the end of the day, it has to have a business case or a business use. Like we have to be able to use it for our everyday life, which then involves business. We need supply and demand of things. So if it's something that does not have a real genuine kind of like, viable business behind it, as in what I mean by that is like sound financial kind of business basics behind it, then the coin's going to fail. If it, with this year we've had so many coins fail, like Terra and all these other Luna, and Terra, all these other coins that have basically fallen because there's no good governance of the actual coins, and there's no proper kind of like business use case for them in the real world. So that's why I like SHIB, and why I like XRP is because from the initial onset they were wanting to replace SWIFT. So a lot of times when we were trying to send money overseas, from our bank accounts, we would have to use SWIFT to basically transfer money from bank to bank. So XRP is basically trying to tokenize that and make that very fast and very cheap to be able to send large amounts of money between banks. And it's had a lot of success and a lot of partnerships around the world, basically beginning to use this as looking into the use case of this and utilize the token. And they've also developed a whole kind of API around CDBCs, central bank kind of like tokens, and basically something that's kind of developed well already, that any country, if they want to develop their own CDBCs, they can utilize the API. So the price is really suppressed over the last many years, and that's because of the lawsuit that's happening in the US. So that's going to take a while to resolve still, but I think in the long term, the price is still very low, and their use case or their business case is very strong because they're basically kind of targeting the institutions, the institution kind of like money that needs to transfer between countries, and basically to reconcile those big amounts of money very quickly. So these kind of tokens that I'm talking about, they're working towards this web kind of 3.0 where we're digitizing a lot of things, and the tokens are going to be a part of it, and the tokens actually have a real use case. So that's the reason I've basically thought Flux is a very good project. And so I've been mining the Flux now for a couple of months now, and the last month in August I was mining with Hero Miners, because they had had a special competition going on, and they also had a zero fee kind of offer. So I've been mining with them, and I'm getting only about 2 Flux a day. I've got basically a RTX 3070 running on it, and very recently, because the main GPU on my work computer, the fans died, I had to buy another replacement GPU. So I purchased the A2000, RTX A2000. So I've reviewed it on lots of the other crypto mining YouTubers channels, and it seems to be a really efficient card. And also only because the computer that I use for work is also a small form factor. So it's one of the more recent RTX models that are actually fit into my small form factor PC. So with the one RTX 3070, one A2000, and GTX 1050 Ti, these 3 cards together, I'm mining Flux. And I'm getting roughly about, like I said, about two Flux per day into my mining wallet. So I'm gonna mine this for the long term, because I feel like it has a lot of other good functionalities to it. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 Flux so that I can actually probably set up one of the nodes and then get another additional kind of income. So I'm trying to actually build up to 1,000 Flux so I can set up one of the Cumulus Flux nodes. So then I can build an additional kind of passive income, mining income. So you get about 7.5% return on a Cumulus node. So I'm trying to build up to that and kind of diversify away just from GPU mining, so that I have other streams of other types of hardware and other streams of income coming in. So the good thing about the staking the 1,000 Flux and with the setting up the node is that you get that passive 7.5% payout, and that will come in without us having to buy really expensive equipment and GPUs to actually set up. So it doesn't cost too much to set this up. So Flux is what I'll be mining kind of going into the future. So yesterday when I shut down the RTX 3090s to stop mining Shiba Inu and XRP, I actually put them onto Neoxa. So this is a new coin that's been around for the last 1 or 2 months, and basically I'm a little bit of spec mining and a little bit kind of looking at basically the high rate of return at the moment. So if you look at currently, the top kind of paying tokens are Ethereum is still obviously the highest. Then you got Ergo, which is coming in about second, and Neoxa is about third place. So you're getting very close, very similar payouts in terms of the mining. So at the moment, Neoxa is a new kind of token that came out, and it runs on Kapow, which is very similar to Ravencoin. So you can see here you're getting a lot higher payout from Neoxa, and lately it's been pumping in terms of the price. Now Neoxa is basically also a proof of work, but they're also putting about 10% of it onto proof of gaming. So where you play games and you can get some payout as well. So what they're basically doing is integrating it into games. So you can play games, and it seems like they're moving ahead quite quickly with basically some of the games that they're coming out with to integrate with this. So in terms of this one, I'm not sure about the long-term project in terms of how successful it will be, but in terms of at the moment, in terms of mining profitability, once Ethereum is switched off, Neoxa seems to be quite a good one to mine at the moment, or if you want to go Ergo. So this one is probably a little bit of this coin at the moment for me is a little bit more of like high price in terms of profit or revenue, and a little bit of spec mining. So moving ahead, this may be able to grow quite well. The price at the moment is very, very low. It's like 0.0007, and so that's only because it's pumped very recently as well. So I think this has a lot of room to grow in terms of the price. So I'm going to be mining a bit of this. So I think after the Ethereum merge, people are going to try to mine the most profitable, which may be Ergo, or mine something that they believe in. So I think some of these top, not tier, but in terms of top revenue kind of tokens, may be the ones that will be most popular, but we'll have to see what happens once the merge actually happens. So I'm getting in a little bit early to try and mine as much of this before the merge, so I can get more coin. So I've only been mining since this over the last 12 hours or so, and I've been getting about 40 to 50 Neoxa per hour as this as Helium Miners pays out. So it's saying that I'm probably going to get around 600 Neoxa per day, and that's been going up and down over the last 12 hours. I've noticed, maybe because of my hash rate constantly changing, and also probably because more and more people are now starting to get ready for the merge, and they're splitting some of their hash rate onto different coins at the moment, and this is one of the more popular coins right now. So moving forward in terms of what's going to happen after the merge, I'm basically sticking with Flux, which I'm also in Helium Miners at the moment. So I'm going to be mining Flux, and I'm going to be mining Neoxa, and these are the two coins that I'll be mining straight after the merge, and then we'll see how things go and see what happens after that. So next I want to talk about what happened with my CPU mining rigs. So at the end of last year, after watching Rapid Mining, I actually bought 4 CPU mining rigs and set them up, and I was mining initially. I was mining Raptorium, and when Avian came out, the yields were really, really high, so I decided to mine Avian. So from the end of last year, I was mining Avian coin for months and months and months, and trying to build up basically a base amount to hold there, to hodl and see if the price went up, then maybe get a good price, sell at a better price later. So what I actually ended up doing was I ended up mining about 1 million coins worth of Avian, And this is my Avian wallet, and I've got about 1 million coins in there. I haven't mined Avian coin for months now, but I decided to stop once I hit 1 million coins. Now, the reason why I decided to stop was that the price of Avian did not actually end up going up. And Avian coin actually kept on going down, down, and down. So as you can see here, you know, Avian, when it first came out, it was really high, and it just kept on dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. So I decided to stop mining Avian because I had a look on the actual Avian website, and I was following their social media, and there was not much happening with the developers. So things were very, very slow. They had a timeline. Some things were done, some things weren't done. So, you know, very recently, the developers have kind of picked it up again, because what happened with Avian was like some of the developers, because no one was getting paid, there was no incentive for anyone to really put a lot of effort into actually building the network and building the product. So they had a kind of a rework just I think about last month or 2 months ago, and now they've decided to change, you know, a percentage of the mining now goes to developers. So, you know, there's some bread for them. They're making some money. Otherwise, everything else previously was voluntary, and the project was not moving at all. So it's moving along a little bit better now, but this is also why, you know, after my experience with Avian, I was sharing with you before that, you know, really look into the project and the developers. What are they doing? You know, are they enthusiastic? Are they actively building the product? Are they actually building business cases? So, you know, a lot of these coins now, everyone's just basically copying each other. You know, everyone's just trying to do, you know, smart contracts. But, you know, if every coin has smart contracts, then what's the business use of it? You know, there is a business use for a smart contract, but everyone's just building a smart contract. They're not actually building, you know, creating relationships or creating business with real businesses in the real world in how to actually use these smart contracts. So smart contracts at the moment, it's really only being used in this NFT kind of area where things are automated. You know, so there's lots of uses for it, but there's no one's really come up and built a real world kind of utilization with the smart contract yet, or a very strong case for it. You know, we have all these capabilities, but we're not actually able to bring that into the real world yet at the moment. So really look at the developers and, you know, what they're doing with the actual project that they're working on. So what does that mean for the CPU mining rig? So after I stopped mining the Avian coin, I happened to come across a video on Rabbit Mining's channel, and he was mining Bitorium. So that was one of the coins that he was introducing a couple of months ago, Bitorium, and he was mining it on ZergPool. So basically I switched all my CPU miners. So all my CPU miners now are on ZergPool, and I'm actually at the moment mining Bitorium. So Bitorium was very similar to Raptorium, but because it's a little bit newer, the yield and basically the profit was a lot higher. But instead of getting paid in Bitorium now, I'm actually mining it straight to Bitcoin, because with a lot of these CPU mineable coins, yes, they may be profitable, but for how long? So like Avian, as I said at the beginning, it was very profitable, but you know, all those coins I've held on to now are worth about, at the current price, everything I've got is worth about, I think, $65 or $61, something like that. So instead of keeping this coin, I decided my strategy for the CPU mining was basically to mine whatever coin that's most profitable at the moment and get paid out in Bitcoin. So on ZergPool, you can actually mine different things and you can actually get paid in Bitcoin. So I've been paid out twice, as you can see here. 0015 is the minimum payout, and so I think that's been like the last, you know, 2 months or so I've been paid, you know, 0.0015. So about 35 days I'm getting about 0015. So you can see the yield at the moment I'm getting, you know, about, you know, probably average out here to be about 0, 0, so 4 zeros, 4 eighths, so 4 zeros, 5 Bitcoin per day. And so I feel like at the moment, you know, in the bear market, in the crypto winter, Bitcoin is very low. But this Bitcoin in the long term, Bitcoin, a lot of people view it as a hold of value, kind of like gold. So I'm gonna put all my CPU mining resources into actually getting Bitcoin instead of actually getting the actual CPU mineable coin. So at the moment, I've only been mining one particular coin, but what's interesting on ZergPool is that you can actually mine algorithms instead of just a coin. So you can see that Bitorium runs on the Ghost Rider algorithm, right? The Ghost Rider algorithm. So if we go to Ghost Rider, if I click Ghost Rider here, you'll see that under the Ghost Rider algorithm, they've actually got two different coins. They got Raptorium and they got Bitorium. So I haven't actually done a test on this yet, but I'm gonna do a test just for myself and for everybody to see what difference do I get a higher yield if I mine the algorithm, which means that it's gonna switch between Raptorium and Bitorium, whichever one is the higher, more profitable coin at the time, and let ZergPool decide which one is actually worth more at this time to mine and to get paid out in Bitcoin. I'm just gonna do a test to see whether mining the Ghost Rider algorithm, the Ghost Rider algorithm is going to be more profitable, or just mining one particular coin is going to be more profitable in the long run. So that's something I still have to try and test yet, but I'll come back to you guys with that, as we go along. So hopefully I'll be able to give you guys an update on that test, and hopefully we can get a little bit higher yield than what we're getting currently on just mining Bitorium. So I'm still trying to figure out how this table works in terms of how do you figure out what is the most profitable. But when I look at it, when this column here is the CPU mineable coins, there's not a lot of them, but it tells you what the estimated 24-hour yield is. But I think it's best to actually test it and see which one actually make more yield or profit, as in which algorithm will make more. So that's what's happening with the CPU miners, the 4 CPU miners we have, and we're running 4 5900X CPUs on these CPU mining rigs, and I've got the CPU in the RTX 30 mining rig also mining away at it as well. So that's what's happening with the CPU miners. So next I want to talk about Helium. So at the beginning of the year, around February, I ordered 2 Helium miners. And why I decided to get into Helium mining, same again, I was thinking about the Web 3.0. So Web 3.0, Helium's trying to basically develop an infrastructure where we have a Wi-Fi hotspot and we provide data. We're building a data network to be able to hopefully have a real world use case utilization where companies can hire the network structure and they pay Helium and we also get paid in the crypto. So the project so far, I've watched quite a few different reviews and videos that the infrastructure was built with the lo-fi, but no businesses actually ended up using the network. So what they're doing now in phase 2 is actually bringing on 5G. So basically what they're doing now is they're building kind of the 5G network now with the actual miners. So 5G network, they've teamed up with like a cellular network in the US and hoping to bring or build a 5G network, and possibly this iteration of it may be more successful in terms of real world business use. People may hire to utilize the 5G network on Helium. So at the moment, the 5G is only available in the United States or the US. So here in Australia, we don't have access to the 5G network yet. So we can only buy the original kind of like low RAN, also lo-fi network products to run the IoT network. So what I did at the time was I looked at a bunch of reviews online, and Bobcat Miner seemed to be the best kind of like miner that was reviewed. Very reliable, easy to work with, easy to troubleshoot. So I purchased 2 of these in February, and I basically set them up. And setting them up, when I received them, probably around May or June, I set these up, and it was a big hassle trying to set up these Bobcat miners. They would constantly be connecting to another unit to get the internet. There was like heaps of problems that I encountered probably the first week, but once I went through different troubleshooting from online and all that, they ran very, very smoothly. So basically now they've actually switched all of these kind of Bobcat 300 miners. They've switched off basically where they have to download the whole blockchain, and they're all basically just a kind of a receiver now. These units now work really, really simply. There are nodes on the network, and you get a pinged challenge or something like that, and you just have to send and receive data back and forth. Whereas previously these units also had to do a lot of the other heavy lifting in terms of the network as well, and there'll be constantly you'd have to resync it and all these problems that I had with them. So I've been running these for probably about maybe 2 months or something like that, and so I didn't set these up till I think like July or something, but I've been running them now for a while, and these are 2 of my miners. So of the last 30 days I mined about 2.74 kind of helium. It's not much, so the price of helium has really dropped at the moment, and so the yield is not very high. We're getting like 0.0 or 0.1 helium per day. So I have 2 miners, so this is my second one. It's doing a little bit less because the reception of where it's been placed is not as good. So this one's only making about 2 HNT per 30 days. So, but now basically the reason why I've purchased the helium miners is to diversify, to not put all my eggs in one basket. So I've now got the GPU miners, I've now got CPU miners, and now I've got the helium miners as well. So the helium miners, now that they've changed a lot of things very recently on the network, they just run. I don't even have to look at them. I log into it maybe once a week to check if it's still running fine, and how many tokens it's mined over the last 14-30 days. So I've done a lot of research. Now this is another little project in terms of the whole mining kind of project. I'm thinking about buying some of the higher gain antennas, getting a professional to install it onto the roof, and so basically to improve the HNT that I can get. So I've seen a lot of people who have had a better antenna setup. They're getting about maybe 5 to 6 to 7 HNT per month at the moment. So that's really high. I'm very close to the average at the moment. I'm a little bit above average on this particular miner, and I'm a little pretty close to the average here as well, a little bit above it. But they're not doing a high amount. But this is going to accumulate there over time as a passive income, and I'll probably do a separate video in terms of when I actually install, how I installed it, and how I set it up, etc., and what my plans are for it in terms of getting a better antenna setup. So I've got to save a bit of money. So unfortunately, guys, I still work full time, and so I'm funding everything by myself. So we're kind of like, this is like a hobby passive income. I would say this is like a passive income hobby. So we're buying all this infrastructure or hardware, and we are getting some passive income on the side as well. So this is the other project that basically I've been working on over the last couple of months, and it's bringing me in a little bit of helium as well, a bit of passive income as well. So that's basically what's been happening over the last couple of months since I think about October last year till now. What I've been doing and what my plans are moving ahead with the Ethereum merge, and what are the kind of projects to look for. So there's lots of different crypto mining channels out there. Go follow all of them, and get as much knowledge as you can. Get lots of different perspectives from different crypto miners and the crypto mining YouTubers, and, you know, formulate your own kind of like plan and own decision on how you want to kind of like, you know, utilize your resources or utilize your hash rate in terms of after the Ethereum merge. So I think that it's good to listen to different points of view and then form our own decision on what we want to do, right? Because it's our own money, it's our own, you know, hash rate, and we need to make our own decisions. So what I have fallen the trap into the last, you know, couple of months many times is, you know, watching different channels and then, you know, following blindly the next, you know, new thing that comes out. And what I realized over the last year, nearly 1 year now, so it's been nearly a year, is that just following the latest greatest new thing sometimes is not the most profitable, right? And so you might waste your like the Avian coin I was talking about, you know, wasted, you know, a good couple of months of hash rate just on that, and I'm just sitting on that at the moment. So I think it's not a bad thing, you know, because we learn from our mistakes and we get better and we improve from that. So now I've got a, you know, much more robust kind of plan of what I want to do in terms of crypto. So for me personally, I don't just watch the crypto mining experts and YouTubers. I also you know, follow you know, people who are just into crypto trading, you know, because they're good at understanding the market, how the market is reacting, what's happening in the market, you know. So that's good to have an understanding of that and how the overall market is actually trending and working at the moment. You know, the news about, you know, what's happening with different projects and why they actually crashed and burned, and understanding, you know, the nuances of the whole market, as, you know, the market as a whole. And then also, you know, I follow people like, you know, Kevin O'Leary, who is a big entrepreneur, but he's also a big investor, and he talks about crypto in terms of institutional investing. You know, when the institutions start putting their money into crypto, it's really gonna start flying off. So, you know, in the end, we have to be less attached to about complete decentralization, in terms that, you know, because the centralization is when governments start to regulate crypto, when they start to put regulations in. When regulations are in there to protect people, then the big institutions have a safety or the tick of approval from governments to be able to put, you know, billions and billions or millions and millions of dollars into different crypto projects to invest their investors' money as well. So that's where the big money is. Just like, you know, just like forex trading, you know, the banks and the institutional traders, you know, when they do a buy or sell in the order of millions or billions of dollars, the price is actually affected and moved. Now we can say that, you know, we are easily affected by that. That is true. But if you understand, you know, if you follow the people who understand trading, you understand, you know, you trade with, you know, with the trend. You don't go against the trend and things like that. So lots of different bits of information is going to help us overall to have a better understanding and a healthy understanding of the whole crypto market as a whole and where it's actually heading. And then that also, I think, helps us to actually have a better understanding and a better idea on how to formulate our own plans on what we want to do with our own money. So always remember, you know, this is not financial advice at all. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing what I'm doing with my crypto journey. So don't follow what I do. Take what I share as food for thought and formulate your own plan. So thanks for following me on this journey so far for nearly a year. I'll try to update with more videos more regularly from now on. And hope everyone stays safe, and hope everyone is profitable in their crypto journey. Okay, thanks. Bye.